The talk of Central and Western North Dakota. Your talk, KFYR 550.
A young lady yesterday reached out to me and wanted to know if I could help her get a gentleman on the air talking about some a film he's doing in North Dakota on human trafficking. And I said, yeah, hey, it's funny, I'm doing a show tomorrow. Maybe I can have this gentleman on. What's his name? And she came back and lined it up, and the gentleman's name, Ejaz Khan. He was born and raised in a film family in India. He left India to come to New York in his early 20s to pursue his passion of fashion. And he's a photographer. He's done a show before They Vanish. But so time doesn't get away on us. I want to welcome Ejaz Khan to the show. Good morning.
Morning, Gary.
Hey, thank you for coming on short notice. Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself before we talk about your filming and your background.
Yeah, I mean, I am originally from India, and I moved to the United States with the big dream, just like everybody else does. Got into fashion photography, and then later on I got into wildlife photography, and then later on I got into films. And everybody keeps saying, hey, Ejaz, why are you shifting from one to the other to the other? And my answer to that is I'm not shifting, I'm just adding on. And why not?
So Ejaz, you sent me a link, and I kind of did a little checking you out a little bit before I had you on, but your wildlife photography is amazing.
Thank you.
Some of those shots you have with Arctic wolves, and I mean you're right out next to them. And how do you get out and get those shots? I mean, you got a great lens, I suppose, but how do you keep from getting chased around out there in the wild? Because it's some pretty harsh environments. I've seen those pictures you've taken.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is that if they chase you or they decide to chase you, there's no way you would be able to run away.
Yeah, I suspect so.
So that's that. I mean, you have that in mind, you take the risk and you go forward. I have lost nerve in 4 of my fingers, my nose and my cheeks because, the temperatures. And I think you guys should know really well how the temperatures are when they get below minus. So I've been there, it's minus 56 degrees. And, you do everything possible. You have patience, you wait around. And when they show, you just, stay put, don't get scared, don't run away.
Wow, that's incredible.
Minus 56 is a little cool.
Yeah, the minus 56. Yeah, that's chilly. That's a bit chilly.
Nippy.
So, Ejaz, I am going to share on my Facebook and tag it with KFYR, your webpage, so people can see some of the photography and the wildlife you've done. And some of your fashion stuff is quite impressive. But time's short. On the air, it goes fast. But tell us a little bit about the movie you had done called Before They Vanish, before we get into your new one you're shooting called Trap. Let's talk about Before They Vanish. Tell our listeners a little bit about that show.
Yeah, so... I have a really close friend of mine in France, and I was going to his ranch every year, 2-3 times a year, and we were photographing horses. He has white horses there. And then I would come back to New York, and after a sale, I would donate the money over to his ranch to take care of the horses. And then someone got in touch with me and said, hey, Ejaz, we have horses in America. Why are you running to France all the time? I mean, aren't you American? So bottom line, she connected me to a gentleman by the name of Frank Kuntz. He has the Nakota horses in Linton, North Dakota. He's got about 300 of them. And I went there to take photographs. It didn't start off as a film. It started off as a photography trip. And I spoke to him, and the story that he told me that he was a Vietnam vet, came back with Agent Orange. It just, led me to, I just wanted to tell the story. So I filmed that one for approximately 2 years. Wow. And after 2 years, we were ready, and today we are on iTunes and Amazon and Google Play. But that started off as a photography trip, and it ended up as a feature film. I mean, more than anything else, what I've really got to learn from that film is that North Dakotans are absolutely amazing people. And you guys are so kind and generous. I have met a gentleman there by the name of Paul Silvernagle and his wife, Barb. They've become a family as far as I'm concerned. So, this film has got, it's done a lot of good things for us in terms of business and so on. But at the same time, it has led me to these people, which is awesome. And that actually leads me to the next film.
Yes, talk to us about this next film. And this is, it's a serious subject matter, and I'd like to spend some time talking about. But before we transition yet, the movie that you've done, the feature film, Before They Vanish, is available. You said on Amazon. Did you say Prime, Apple TV,
Amazon Prime, iTunes, and Google Play.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share that on the Facebook page for listeners that may want to be able to check it out and find a link to it and watch it at home. So let's transition now to your next feature film that you're working on. Tell us the name of it and what it's about and how you came to doing this.
Well, like I said, it started off in North Dakota. I was filming Before They Vanish, and in Linton, and Linton is a small little town, and I should literally say I bumped into this girl, and she started to speak to me, and it's small. So it's, you bump into a few times, and then all of a sudden, you know them.
Yep, and that's North Dakota all the way.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, and she started to tell me her story, and I was trying to encourage her, and I said, why don't you just come to New York and do something? She's from the creative side. And she told me about what happened with her in her life. Her mom's boyfriend basically raped her. Mom didn't believe it, and then she was, she ran away from home to get into the hands of sex traffickers. And they held on to her for 6 years, and they moved her around from one motel to the other motel to the other motel for 6 years. She was handcuffed. Yeah, they used to handcuff her. They didn't give her food. I mean, the way she described it to me was, she said the first day there was this one guy who, met with her, and he was supposed to be helping her because she had met him online. And she said, okay, I'm going to leave my mom's house, and I'm going to come stay with you. You can get me jobs. And he's like, sure, I can do that for you. And the first day when she walks into the motel room with him, he didn't have sex with her. There were two other friends of his in the room. And what they did was they beat the hell out of her.
Unbelievable.
The three of them beat her to a point where she was bleeding, eyes were all puffy, and they said, from this day on, your life is going to be ours. And they took her from one motel to the other motel for 6 years. And luckily, after 6 years, she found an opportunity and ran outside. So once
is this a North Dakota? This young lady? Did this happen in North Dakota? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Wow.
And that's the reason why I'm filming it in North Dakota. And I have to say that, I came back and I spoke to my wife about it. And my wife said, you're telling a story about horses, which is great. Let's tell this story because this is what people really need to know, that it's happening in the backyard in America.
Absolutely. It's tragic. It's tragic.
Right under our noses, and I think plenty of people don't, either they turn a blind eye or simply don't realize it's going on.
Well, let me tell you something. After I have made the announcement that I am going to make this film, several news channels in North Dakota has helped us, and we aired the first interview. I guess it was XY News. And there were so many girls, women, who have got in touch with me. So many, I can't even name them, And they said, Ejaz, whatever you need. I mean, from politicians to teachers to professors to girls who have worked the sex industry as well. Everyone says, we want to help. Tell us what we can do to help you.
And I'm sure they're looking for the safe place to reach out because you're in that situation. You want to reach out, but you got to be very careful that it doesn't backfire on you.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that reach out has to count.
Yeah.
Ejaz, we have to do all we can to help you get the word out on this. This isn't only young ladies, obviously. Sex trafficking are young boys as well, and it's right before our eyes here in North Dakota. We kind of think it happens somewhere else. People go, "Oh, it might happen in Bakken out in Williston because it's a rough area," but it happens everywhere, doesn't it?
Here's the funny part. The funny part is that since I have decided to make it, I was there actually last month scouting for locations, and anyone I bump into and I start to speak to them about, hey, look, I'm going to be doing this. I'm making a film and it's about sex abuse and sex traffic. The girl, I was mentioning this to Gary yesterday. Every 2 girls I spoke to, one of them turned on and said to me, we were abused.
Unbelievable. 50%.
Every two girls. This is a serious matter, I think. I think that, we need to let people know that this is happening in our backyard.
People need to be aware of this. It's a bad situation. You hear about it all the time, but you never believe it's in your backyard. When we come back from the break, Ejaz, I want to have you talk about the timing of the film, and if anyone needs to reach out to you, how do they find you, and talk about it. So this is Gary Amadis filling in for Daryl Lease. We've been talking to Ejaz Khan. Stay with us.
The talk of Central and Western North Dakota. Your talk, KFYR 550.
I want to make sure we give our guest, Ejaz Khan, time to talk about his film, Trapped. Ejaz, before we forget, give me the contact information or website or something so people can reach out to you. I know you're filming this movie, Trapped, on sexual trafficking. Please give us some information real quick so listeners out there could take that down, and then let's come back and talk about the film you're doing.
Sure. So it's the website is 𝐲𝐘𝐒 cinema, cinema.com.
Terrific. I am going to share that eventually for listeners out there. If you don't have a pen, can't write it down, I'll share it on the Facebook page so people can find a way to reach out to you. Talk to us about not how you came to it, but what's the timing of this film that you're doing, and how will it be distributed, et cetera, so people can watch and find out about it?
At this moment, we are in rehearsal, so I have a great star cast. Everyone's really helping out, and we are working every single day for a few hours, rehearsing our scenes and so on. I have done scouting, so we have all the locations in place as well. Restaurants in Linton, and the gas station in Linton is helping out. They are giving us their locations to film, and we can film over there. So we should be there. I should be there actually February 15th. And then we're going to start filming by February 22nd or the 23rd for about a month and a half at the most. So by March and early April, I should be out of there with all the footage. And then after that, we come back to post, which is a lot of color, sound, Foley, music, editing, XYZ.
Yep.
So it should take us approximately another 6 to 8 months to finish this. The end goal over here is that it's going to be on, it will be on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play. We're going to try and get into Netflix again. But if it doesn't work, it should be on the other major platforms like iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play.
So, Ejaz, we want to make sure when you're out in February, make sure you reach out to me. I think Todd would, whether I'm hosting or someone else, would love to have you on to talk about how the filming is going to help promote that. This is a message that needs to be addressed. We need to try to fix this problem in America. We recognize we're all human and bad things happen, so it's never going to everything's not going to go away. We always have problems, but the more we can expose issues like this, it helps people be in tune to it, and to help rescue people and help people from this. And I appreciate and applaud your effort in doing that. And also when you get back to releasing this, we want to make sure we're aware of that so we can get it out across the state to promote that. So thank you for your efforts of doing that. We appreciate that. And so you got about another minute or two. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you're coming on to filming, and do you have anything else in the works after this?
After this, we have decided to take on another challenging subject, which would be mental sickness. Yeah, so it's going to be about mental sickness, and it's going to be filmed here in my hometown in New York City. So we won't be coming to North Dakota for that, but that's in the pipeline, and we should film that towards the end of 2023 while we're getting ready to release Trapped. And then as far as Trapped is concerned, I just want, everyone to know that it's, yes, we are humans. We all make mistakes. But I think, making a mistake and looking the other way is the bigger mistake. So let people know about this. Let people know that things like this happen. And we should be aware of it. And we should just, educate our young kids that they know what precautions to take and what not to do in order to protect themselves. Well,
I think of the world we live in with social media. There's predators out there all the time trying to get in people's lives and wreck people's lives at someone else's expense. And the more we can get the word out to inform the public that, hey, don't ignore this. Don't put your head in the sand like an ostrich, or don't look the other way. All those things that go with that, because when it happens in Linton, North Dakota, it's happening all over this state and all over this country. And I applaud your efforts for getting the word out so we can get exposure out there so people in tune to it. So,
Gary, I have just one thing to announce.
Yes, sir.
We are doing a giveaway, and the giveaway is a trip to New York City for the premiere of Trapped, which we'll be flying the person in and letting them, and they'll be with us on the premiere and 4-day stay in New York City.
Oh, fantastic! How are people going to register to get that?
They could actually go to our website, like I said, ejazkhancinema.com /trapped, and they can sign up, and we'll correspond with them. One lucky winner will come to New York for the premiere.